Pronti?
Pronte?
Via, andiamo. Allora,
Sia, salute.
Salute, un bicchiere di vino rosso. Salute a tutti. Allora, continuiamo. We put a little bit of sugar, just a tiny amount, just a little sprinkle. Then we proceed with the mandarin zest. 2 or 3 little pieces in each one. Next we'll do the walnuts. Now be generous because the crocette or stuffed grapes in a cross, they are nothing but figs, tangerine zest or mandarin zest, and the walnuts go in each of the 4 halves which we created. That would suffice. We'll cut one more. Now it is crucial that you remove this little bugger here because it's very, very hard. And you don't want to break a tooth. Cut away from the knife. Shape it. Stretch it a little bit. And then you'll cover each end of the fig in such a manner. That's one. And we'll cut one more. And we'll cover the remaining one. Make sure that you match the opening so that they'll seal properly. And then you press them. Turn them over the other way. And you press them this way, and here we are. You like it, Chris?
Beautiful.
It forms a cross, which is symbolic of the cross of Christ around Christmas time. And again, it's called a crocetta. So croce is cross. Crocetta means a little cross. So we now have one unit, which is shaped. You like it, Senora? And that's our first one, and you just continue to repeat.
So what's the process after you produce them?
After we produce them this way, I would also like to note that you can do them individually as well. So if you have, as you can tell from this beautiful table here, these are the figs which are available in the store, and they're imported from Greece. They're very, very good. They're excellent. New crop. So these are already done, and these are done, of course, they're individually.
How long do you bake these?
We'll place them in the oven for about a 200-degree oven for about 5 minutes, no more than that, 5 minutes on each side. And as you can tell, you don't want them burnt because the longer they stay in the oven, then they will get too hard. Okay, 5 minutes on each side. When they come out of the oven, you place them on a table, and you will get a bay leaf, and then you start stacking the crocette, bay leaf, crocetta, bay leaf, and so on and so forth. You can make it 5, 6, or 7, 8, or 10, all the way up. And you just leave them like that in an airtight container or in your pantry, and they will keep for until Easter, basically, and that is the process.
So tell us a little bit of the history of this tradition. Is it just from from Calabria,
well,
or
Calabria
is it from all parts of Italy?
No, you bring up a good point. Calabria is in southern Italy, of course, and Calabria happens to be one of the Greek colonies. The Greeks were in Calabria well before the Romans were, and it originated and stayed there pretty much. It's the only region where we have the figs. I mean, in other parts of Italy they have figs that they stuff in with different ingredients, almonds, or they dip them in chocolate, or drizzle it with honey. They're just variations from town to town, but it's strictly a southern tradition for the most part in Calabria, because Greeks and figs and stuff like that, they go together. So it's And I would also like to point out that in Calabria, those Greek towns that I mentioned, there are actually some Greek towns to this day that they're not inhabited by Greek immigrants, but they are the original Greeks. They're just natives, and they still speak their native Greek language, the old Greek. It's not the modern Greek. So they have their own dialect, pretty much like in Calabria. Every town has their own. They all have their own dialect, which are distinct languages. They're not a variation on the language with a few words. They are distinct, and they're inherent to that particular town. You know, strongly influenced by their whoever the person conquering, you know, the people conquering that town was at that particular time.
That's a good point. We all have influences from different countries, whether it's Greek, Italian, Spanish, Turkish.
That's correct.
So that's an interesting story. And when Giovanni, we were speaking about the figs and some of his traditions, we thought it might make sense to share that with our customers, and that's something hopefully we can offer on a regular basis. And that's what makes this food business fun, is learning about the traditions, and it all goes hand in hand with the culture. So we are appreciative of Giovanni for sharing that with us, and hopefully there's more of those to come. So thank you from Salonika Imports. Take care.
Thank you very much, and enjoy Christmas.
Salute again.
Salute once more.
See ya in Greek.
Ciao.
Yamas. Ciao.
Ciao.